Hey everybody, Billy Bob here. It's a Tuesday, but it's Monday morning quarterback NFL edition. You know, a lot of times I save the best for last. But I don't know if there is a best this week. There probably are. We'll look at some teams, not the Ohio teams. We're going to start with the worst of the worst first. We're going to start with the Cleveland Browns playing the Chicago Bears. The Browns fall to 3-11. They're 1-6 on the road. The Bears go to 10-4, 31-3. The Browns, they scored 3 points in the third quarter. Bears got 14 in the first. They got 14 in the third. Then they added another 3 in the fourth. Excuse me. Look, I'm not busting on Shedeur. He's trying. He's a rookie. I want to see the guy succeed. Contrary to a lot of people, if I do criticize him, all right, I'm going to leave that alone. You read all the people that statistically not criticize, but point out his good play and his bad play, and you'll see what the comments you get. It's disgusting, actually. But Shedeur, he's playing with an offensive line that's decimated. The defensive side of the ball, they had injuries. I'm not making excuses. They're terrible. I mean, they're terrible. Just the defense played decent throughout the year. But the offensive line, they started one guy Sunday that started at the beginning of the season. Everybody else is either a free agent or a second or a third team guy. And the guy they started, who was a starter at the beginning of the year, Joel Bitonio, was hurt. So, look, Sanders got to run around, still working on figuring out coverages, working out where your receivers are. He was 18 out of 35, 177 yards, only averaged 5 yards of reception, threw 3 picks. There's probably 1 or 2 that shouldn't have been thrown. But again, it's a learning experience. You try to make a play, but you didn't, right? The running game was crap, 50 yards. And the leading rusher was Shedeur Sanders with 24 yards. And then Quinshon Judkins, 12 carries, 21 yards. Jerry Jeudy actually held on to the ball for the most part. Do we need to say anything about Chicago? Do we care anything about Chicago? No. I mean, I was at Pop's Sunset Grill with my buddy Brian and his wife Jen. And Brian's a big Bears fan, so congratulations. That's it. So, I was reading, there's this guy, it's Dogs by Nature, and so let me get to that. And it's, the start of the article is the Browns still have a crisis at quarterback. And he goes into stats as to Shedeur and Gabriel, and it says, but he goes, there's bad, and then there is what this offense did on Sunday. And again, the offense did it as a whole. It's not one guy. But it says they're struggling. It's the NFL. It's not supposed to be easy. There's bad, like only scoring 17 points in a game 4 times this year. And then there's what took place on Sunday in Chicago. It was historically awful. 21 yards rushing from Quinshon, 88 yards receiving by anybody other than Isaiah Bond, 9 first downs, 10 of 12 offensive drives ended in either a punt or an interception, and they were just 4 of 14 on third down. But that was all bad. But the advance, so they have this thing, it's called a DVOA. and I'll explain that in a minute. But the Browns' 31-3 loss to the Bears was the 11th worst game since 1978 by DVOA. Browns had an 8% offensive success rate through 3 quarters. So it ain't good, folks. It just isn't good. So then the question becomes, what do you do with Kevin Stefanski? Do we rely on him winning Coach of the Year twice? Do we rely that he'll come back and win Coach of the Year a third time next year? Look, what was the record last year? I don't know, 2 or 3 wins this year. 3. I mean, are we like 6 and so they play 17 games? We would have been 3-14. I don't remember last year's record. Right now we're 3-11. If we don't win another game, we're going to be 3-14. You know, God bless the New York Jets. They're feeding. They only have 3 wins, and 2 of them are against the Browns and the Bengals. I mean, so Stefanski is either going to be 6-26 or 28, 6-28 or 5-29. I mean, what is it in the last 2 years? Is that acceptable to somebody as successful as Jimmy and Dee Haslam? Do you know what Jimmy Haslam, his success? Flying J, Pilot Travel, sold it all to Berkshire Hathaway for billions. Okay? The guy's not an idiot. We may think he's an idiot. He may be a football idiot, but he's not a business idiot. Oh my God. So DVOA, I told you I'd tell you what it is. I don't understand it completely. It's a defense-adjusted value over average. It's an advanced football statistic from Football. I think some of this was made up for betting purposes. But, so it says how it works. Situational adjustment. A 5-yard gain on 3rd and 4 is far more valuable than a 5-yard gain on 1st and 10. Then you weigh, the performance is weighted by the quality of the defense faced. So if you're facing a good or bad defense, playing well against the top 10 boosts your DVOA. Sure. I mean, the last 2 games, the Browns and Stur's offense, they looked pretty good, but they were playing the Titans, who had 1 win, and the week before they were playing somebody that just wasn't very good. So the play-by-play, so opponent adjustment, performance is weighted by the quality of the defense faced, playing well against, I did tell you that. Play-by-play analysis, it breaks down every single play, and it's assigned points for success playing well against a top defense boosts your DVOA. And then they go on and on. I won't bore you with it. What it means is we're just not very good. I guess we didn't need to do that. I didn't need to go through that whole exercise because what do they say? It's the eye test, and the eye test tells you we suck. By the way, in this DVOA thing here, the Browns are dead last in pro football. Dead last in the NFL. The Bengals are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from last. Because that's where we're going next. Have you had enough of the Browns? If you don't have enough, here you go. We got to play the Buffalo Bills this coming week. And then we go to the Bengals. They played the stinking Ravens. They couldn't even do the job right there. They lose the game 24-0. So between the Browns and the Bengals, they lose 55, right? 31 and 24 is 55. 55-3. Sounds like Purdue playing somebody. But Joe Burrow, 25 of 39, 225 yards. Doesn't sound bad, right? But he has no touchdowns, 2 picks. One was a pick 6, second pick 6 in 2 games. And then the defense gives up 24. So, And the Ravens aren't that great. They're 7-7. I guess that's better than the Bengals being 4-10. I don't have any of these DVOAs. I did tell you they were like 6th from the last or 5th from the bottom in that. Let's see what else we got here. Did I skip over all that stuff here? Let's see. I mean, there are other games, right? Other scores. But before we get to those other scores, let's look at a couple things here. Let's look at, no. There were some significant injuries, folks, in the NFL this week. So let me move this over a little bit. All right. So the most significant injury of all on a team that has missed the playoffs, they are officially eliminated. The Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes out, ACL injury, going to have surgery, may have had it today. Gardner Minshew is the backup quarterback. He takes over. Packers, Micah Parsons, non-contact knee injury. It's confirmed he tore an ACL, and he's probably done for the year. Then former Packer, now Rams wide receiver, Davante Adams, hamstring, pulled up, grabbed it, questionable going into the next game or two. Also, Puka Nacua went down with some kind of injury. Apparently it was just cramps, so I think he'll be okay. And then Christian Watson, Green Bay Packers wide receiver, chest injury late in the game, ruled out for that game. We don't know what happened, or we don't know where it's going for the next game. So R.J. Harvey were the Broncos. The Broncos are doing very well. Left the game with a rib injury, so we don't know anything else. Of course, J.K. Dobbins is out for the year for the Broncos. Texans rookie running back Woody Marks out with a ankle injury. They said he could have returned, but they kept him out as a precautionary measure. And then the Bears, Rome Odunze, initially ruled inactive before the game. He aggravated a stress fracture in his foot, so he's been limited in practice. However, Luther Burton III had a big game for the Bears, 6 catches, 84 yards. And then one other one that we'll go to is the Bengals, T. Higgins, still working through concussion protocol, and we don't know, probably week to week. There is one other one that's of note. 49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall left the game late with an ankle injury. So that's that. Let's talk about, y'all know I'm a Buckeye fan. So we always talk about Ohio State wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. So here you go. Emeka Egbuka, 4 catches, 64 yards, no touchdowns, long of 23. Garrett Wilson did not play. I guess he's still injured. Chris Olave, 6 catches, 85 yards, 1 touchdown, and long of 18 yards. Terry McLaurin finally back and playing. 3 catches, 69 yards, 1 touchdown, a long of 51. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not play. I don't know if that's still his appendix surgery nagging or if there's something else going on there. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba still lighting up the NFL. 7 catches, 113 yards, no touchdowns with a long of 39. Jeremy Ruckert, 2 catches, 13 yards, no touchdowns, long of 10. And Cade Stover, as far as wide receivers or receivers, because Stover and Ruckert are both tight ends. Stover, 3 catches, 22 yards, no touchdown, and long of 8. As far as running backs, if you didn't see it, you got to go back and watch the highlights of Travion Henderson. The Patriots lost. They got beat up in the second half. We'll talk about that in a minute, maybe. But 14 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns with a long of 65, and 2 catches for 13 yards. Conversely, Quinshon Judkins had a terrible game, 12 carries, 21 yards, 3 catches, -4. And then on a bounce back, C.J. Stroud coming back after his concussion, maybe sitting helped him out, but he had about as good a game as he's had all year, 22 of 29, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, with a long of 57 yards to Nico Collins. So that gives you a little perspective there. Just kind of go through a couple of the games. And we'll tell you, did I go through? Mm-hmm. Maybe we won't go through any games. Who knows? Who cares? Let's see. I'll give you some Billy Bob knowledge. Buccaneers lose to the Falcons. They lost 5 of their last 6 games. I told you about the Browns. I told you about the Bengals. The Chiefs lose to the Chargers. They lose Patrick Mahomes. They're eliminated. The Bills come back. They outscore the Patriots 28-7. I mean, this game looked like it was a walk away for the Patriots, but the Bills come back. Josh Allen, 19 of 28, 193 yards, not much, but 3 touchdowns, snowing on and off. Commanders beat the Giants. Jackson Dart was back. Jameis, he played like through 1 pass, I think. The Raiders are hapless as can be, 2-12 with Pete Carroll. I guess Pete's not the magic man after being out for a couple of years. Eagles 9-5, 31-0 there. I told you the Jets, out of their 3 wins, 2 of them are against the Browns and Bengals. Jags kicked their ass 48-20. Texans, I told you C.J. Stroud had a nice game, 40-20 over the Cardinals. Broncos keep rolling. They're 12-2. They beat the Pack. The Pack down to 9-4. Rams over the Lions. The Lions are struggling. They're 8-6. They still got a chance to make the playoffs. Saints over the Panthers. Titans 2-12. Lions kicked their ass. 49ers 10-4. And of course, the Vikings, even though they were eliminated from the playoffs, I believe, they beat the Cowboys 34-26, and then the Steelers take care of business over the Dolphins. So taking a look at the playoff picture, you got in the AFC, you got 9 teams vying for 7 positions. Let's get that thing straight. So eliminated, I told you, Kansas City Chiefs, huge surprise. First time in Patrick Mahomes' career, I believe, that he hasn't made the playoffs. Chiefs are eliminated, Dolphins, Bengals, Jets, Browns, Raiders, and Titans. So, I mean, the last 4 of them got Jets 3 wins, Browns 3 wins, Raiders 2, Titans 2, Bengals 4 wins. I mean, and then in the NFC, so anyway, the Broncos clinched a playoff spot. In the NFC, the Rams clinch a playoff spot. There's still 10 teams in the running for 7 spots. Eliminated are the Minnesota Vikings, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, the Commanders, Washington Commanders, Arizona Cardinals, and the New York Giants. So, you know, you got some teams kind of in the Bucks. They could win their division, even losing 5 out of 6 games. They're really kind of in it with the Panthers, Carolina Panthers, but they believe they beat the Panthers head-to-head. So I believe they're in the same division as the Panthers. Let's look. Am I correct, Amundo? Let's see. They are. So they're both losing. Bucks got a losing streak of 2 in a row. Like I said, 5 of the last 6. And the Panthers have lost 1 in a row. So, other 2 teams, Falcons and Saints, are eliminated. So, woo! I don't know where are we? 20 minutes. Holy crap. That was a long time. I hope I said something of value. Anyway, that's what I got. It's a wrap. America, land of the free, because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace out.